Oh, hey everybody. Huh. This is weird. I'm here. Let's do a live code, huh? Shall we? I haven't done anything like that in a while. Before I get to work here at Wazoo, I figured this morning, why don't I just build something, right? Like, I get questions all the time about building stuff, so let's build something, shall we? I'm going to open up Access here. Actually, let me close down that silly screen right there that we see. What was that? Okay, good. We don't need that PowerPoint presentation. Ah, yes, the beautiful green screen. Let's go open up Access. So I figured let's build a login screen. And what I was going to do with this is make this like a starter app, right? So pretty much every application you build has to have some sort of login screen. So I figure if we start out with a login screen, then we can kind of build upon that as we go. Maybe I'll do some more of these live streams and we'll build upon this application. So I'm just going to do login screen. Let's put this in a different location, though. I don't like that location. Let's go straight to my documents. Why not? Oh, wait. That's already OneDrive. Oh, I see. It's my OneDrive document location. I prefer projects, but you know what? That's what I'll do. I'm going to put it under C drive projects. We'll do new folder. Access login screen. Sure, why not? Okay, go create that thing, Access. Onward and upward. Okay, so the first thing that we need is some sort of way of tracking our users, right? We need a table in order to track the data. And when we're working with Access, we're always data centric, right? We're always trying to figure out how are we going to store data. So let's go ahead and make this table full of, users, right? Usernames and passwords. Sure. So let's make this username. And we'll make this password. And that's all we really need to start out with. We'll have an ID username. You know what? Let's go ahead and add like a first name and middle name and last name. Why not? Get some user information in here. We could expand upon this. Heck, we could even move this into like its own table, right? We probably should for normalization purposes. We should probably move those 3 columns into some other like person table. But I'm okay with this for right now. Let's save this. So we're gonna call this just users. Yeah, users. That's good. Okay. Auto numbering the ID, short text, 255. Let's shorten this down a little bit. Let's say you can't have more than 20 characters for username. Password, let's say, needs to be, well, let's say no more than 20 characters again. First name, 255. You know what? I don't really care about the names too much. That's fine. So there's our user table. Yes. Okay. So let's go ahead and build our form that the user is going to log in with, right? So let's go create form design. Remember, I'm fond of the form design method. I don't like building from their little defaults, their auto form stuff. Okay. So what's this form need? Well, we need to get the username and password and compare it to what we have in the user table. So we're going to need to design in here a couple of things for the user to enter in some of their information, right? So we're going to say username and let's just copy that and paste it and password. Okay, good enough. Let's add some, or let's make this a little wider, right? And let's add like a company name, shall we? Let's do some sort of label here. Programming made easy. You know what? No. Generic co. There we go. Generic co. Let's give it some styling, shall we? And I could add the logo here, right? I got to add an image if I wanted to. Let's see. Let's make this something interesting. Algerian? 48. Can I make it 48? Move some stuff around. I don't need you. I just want to move these. Generic co. All right, let's add some color, shall we? I always like blue. I think blue is a good color. All right, let's make our labels black as well as our text boxes black. The text, that is, the font color that goes in there. Just click on automatic. That's the default for automatic is black, so that's good. The other thing that we need is a button, right? We need them to be able to log in. So let's go ahead and add a, let's go to design, drop in a button that just simply says something simple. I don't need you. Log in. Okay. I could probably add a cancel button. Maybe we'll do that a little bit later, but I think this is good for now. Okay, I don't really like the styling that we got here, because if we just take a look at this, we got, you know, the records down here. That doesn't make sense. We got the, you know, the selector there. That doesn't make any sense at all. So let's change our form up a little bit. Let's go down, format. Let's see, where is it? I always have a hard time finding these. Control box. Sure, record selectors. There we go. Change that to no. Navigation buttons, no. And that's going to give us our more typical. Oh, let's save it. Yeah, this is going to be login. All right. Okay, so that's a little bit better. We got rid of the record selectors, etc. But I also want this to pop out, right? Because right now it's just like full screen and tabbed, and that's not really good. So let's go ahead and change that. Let's go to. Oh, let's add a caption here while I'm thinking about it. Login. All right. Needs to be a single form. Yes. What I'm looking for, though, is it needs to be pop-up. And let's go. Let's not go with modal just yet. I'm going to see what this looks like. Oh, there we go. There's our pop-up. There we go. Okay, so here's one of the things about doing these pop-ups is you get these gray lines at the bottom. If you're wondering how to get rid of those, that is where we have the scroll bars. Because by default, the screen wants to have a scroll bar even if there's no need for one. So let's go to the format, and we're looking for scroll bars. And we see where it says both. Let's change it to neither. Save that, and now, there's our login screen. Woohoo! All right. So we got these buttons up here. I'm not sure that I want users to be able to close out of this. We might address that a little bit later, but I think we're starting to get something there with our login screen. Okay, now we need to do some sort of like, how do we compare username and password to something that's in this table, right? We gotta actually do some coding logic. We've done design, we've done some terrific UX, right? This just gorgeous looking form. Okay, so what we wanna do is let's give some names to these text boxes and this button, because otherwise we're not gonna really know what it is. Like text 0. How do we know what text 0 is, right? When we're trying to do coding, we got to give these things appropriate names so we know what the controls are we're dealing with. So I'm going to go ahead and give this TXT. I like to prefix these controllers or controls because then it helps me understand what it is I'm doing. So I do kind of still do the whole Hungarian notation for just the controls. Makes it a little easier. I don't really do that with any other. It's funny because I only do this with Access. I don't do this with like HTML or WPF or anything like that. I just only do this with Access. It's just kind of habit, I guess. Username. Username. All right. Password. TXT. Password is good. I could also, one of the other conventions that you might find is like username text box, right? That's also very common to do. It's really kind of up to you, I guess. Okay. So now we've got these names for username and password. Let's do login. So this is a button login. Okay. So now that we've got our things properly named so that we can identify them in our code, let's go ahead and do some coding, shall we? Let's go ahead and do a login. Let's go to the event, and when the login button is clicked, that's really all that we care about. Let's do the code builder. And from here, what we want to do is we want to compare to see first and foremost. There's this concept called fail fast, right? So we want to find the first reason why this is going to fail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an if statement that's going to check to see if the username even exists in the database. So probably the simplest one to do for doing a lookup on that is a DLOOKUP. Okay, it's just kind of a thing that if DLOOKUP actually isn't there a D? Hold on. Let's see. Can I do F1 here? That's just going to give me that. Okay, I don't really care about that screen. Well, we'll do a DLOOKUP. So we'll do a DLOOKUP. What are we looking for? We're looking to see if, see, I think there's like a D exists, right? D exists, or no, D count. There we go. We'll do a D count. And we're going to just check to see if count is greater than 0 to see if there are this many users, right, that match this username. So we're looking for username where, okay, so this is essentially our where clause for a SQL string, right? So what we're going to do is we're just going to say where username is equal to, and we need to put in, we're going to concatenate in here whatever the txt, let's do me.txt username, and I'll even throw in a value just to be very, very sure that that's what I'm getting, not the object. Okay, and oh, I'm in the wrong section. That's the third parameter. I got to specify the table, don't I? I want the table name was users, right? There we go. So I'm looking in the users table for username. I'm really just getting a count of this. It doesn't even matter which field I pick. I could do first name, and it really wouldn't matter. Yes. I know I don't have a then and if. Yes. Stop complaining. Okay, so this is going to give me a D count. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check to see, okay, does this even exist? So this is going to be, is D count greater than 0? And that's going to tell me whether or not there is a user by that username, right? And if so, then what am I going to do? So I'm just going to, for right now, let's do, I need some place to display an error message, right? So let's go ahead and add that to our screen so that we have some sort of like, you didn't do this right. Let's go ahead and create, oh wait, here, format, let's go ahead and add, or sorry, design, gosh. Let's add a label here. That's just going to say, incorrect username. I don't know. We could say whatever we want. Whatever kind of error message we really feel like. And I'm going to make this smaller. Let's do, is 10 going to be, yeah, 10 should be good enough. Let's make the color of this red text so that we go and really make it bold there too. Double click, kind of move this around a little bit. And we could get a little fancier, right? We could add some border here that's going to be red. And what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to move some of this logic into a function. So let's go ahead and give this a label. We need to be able to identify this in our VBA code. So we need to give it a label that makes sense. I'm going to say LBL incorrect user name. There we go. Username. LBL incorrect username. Okay. So if it's an incorrect username, let's go back to our logic here. We're going to say, what I need to do then is I'm going to build a function. So I'm going to private, actually, let's do a sub, incorrect, or let's do, yeah, incorrect username. And what this is going to do is just change what the styling is on our page. Or let's do incorrect username style. Sure, why not? So that way, this function, what this function is going to do is actually go through and like, if this is an incorrect username, then do these things, right? We're just kind of moving some of that logic into its own little container here. So let's do, good evening, CD Live. Enjoying your Access series. You have an excellent presentation style. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Okay, so incorrect username style. What's the first thing we want to do? Well, we want to make sure that that label shows up, right? So we're going to do me.lbl incorrect username visible is going to be set to true. Okay, Now that means that we have to make sure that when the form loads initially, that value is false. So let's go back to our label and let's just say visible is no. So when we look at our form, when it first loads up, right, let's go take a look at this in form view, right? We don't see, gosh, I wish it would stop going down there. But we don't see the red label, right? But if it's incorrect, then it's going to show that red label. So let's go back to design view. Okay. Let's go back to our login, event, on click. Okay. So we're going to change it to visible. And then also what we could do is we could go to that text box, so txt username, and we can set the border color to, let's just do, I think you could just say red, right? You know what? I don't remember. Let's see. RGB. Red is integer 255. Green is 0. Blue is 0. There. All right. So that's going to change our border color to red. All right. So let's see if that's the case. So if it is greater than, we want to also do else. And we're going to say if else, then we're going to call that incorrect user. Oops. Incorrect username style. Okay. If not, then I think we can go ahead and move on to the next stage. So that's going to be if. So now what we need to do is if they pass this, right? If they pass this check here to see if the username is good. And you know what? Let's check first to see if this works. Why not, right? Compile this just to make sure I didn't fat finger anything. And we know we don't have any users right now, so if I try to put in a username, blah, 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 log in, incorrect username, and oh, look at that. Perfect, right? We don't have a user by that name, so we're good to go. Let's try adding a user and make sure that this does work if we do have a user. So datasheet view, username, I'll just put in sbishop. Let's do password 1. Password 1, exclamation. There we go. Steve M. Bishop. All right. Save that. All right, now let's try the login screen again. This time, S. Bishop. Does that exist? If I click on login, woohoo, we don't get any red. Whee, this is fun. Okay. Next up, let's go back to our login design view. And what we need to do is, we're good to go there on our login check, right? As far as the username. But now we need to also check to see if the password exists on that user. And here's the problem. I can't do a similar decount to go see if the password works, because then somebody might put in a valid username, but not the password for that user. So this decount idea, it doesn't really solve that particular problem, does it? So we need to do some refactoring here. We need to actually go get a record set. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to define dim rs as DAO record set. And I'm going to specify DAO because I want this to be a DAO record set, not a ADO, right? Okay. So let's go ahead and do something to go get this username. So I'm going to do a dim SQL as string. This is going to be our SQL string that's going to go and actually query our database. And I'm going to set this to something like SQL is set to a string of select. Let's just do star. That's fine. From users where, and this is where I'm just going to do add a little extra space there, because what I'm going to do here is instead of if decount, I'm going to actually go, well, you know what, that's fine. I was going to say I could do something dynamic here, but I'm just going to grab this and say where username is this value. There we go. All right, so that's going to go get that one user where the username equals that, okay? And here's what we want to do then. So I'm going to get rid of that D count. Yes, yes, I know you don't like that. And what I want to do is, so I'm going to run this query. So I'm going to do a rs, or no, I needed to do a open, oh, come on, what's the command? Current DB. And current DB is, what was it? Come on. It's been a while since I've done anything here. Open record set. There we go. Open record set. There it is. Open record set. Name is going to be current DB open record set. Wait a minute. Not open. It's create. Oh, come on. Oh, okay. We want to set rs equal to current DB open record set. And we want to pass it, right, SQL. Right? God, it's been a while since I've done anything in VBA and Access. Okay. That should get us our record set. Now we're going to do rs. We're just going to want to set this to first. Let's see, rs. What's that function? Find first. Move first. There we go. Move first. Okay. So this will get us to our first record as soon as we open up that record set. And we need to do that so that our cursor that's in our record set goes all the way to the top of the list, right? And it goes to the first one. So then we want to do, okay, so we want to, while rs, actually we don't need to do that. We don't need to loop over the records. We just need to go to that first one. So if rs end of file, then that means we did not find a user. Okay, so if we're at the end, if we tried to move to the first record, but we're all the way down at the end of our record set, then that means there is no user by that username, right? So we tried to find a user, we tried to get a query done where we found that user, it didn't exist, therefore we had a failure. So then in that case, let's call that incorrect username style. And then let's also, let's exit sub. Okay, that way we don't go any further in the logic. So we basically just did the same thing, but now we're using a record set. So we were doing, we were using dcount before, but now we're actually going and getting a record set and seeing if that user actually exists in the database. So let's save that, and let's just verify that what the changes that we've done actually work, okay? So if I just put in some random login, ooh, no current record. Okay, so I can't move first. Oh, that's right. I can't move first if I don't have something. Duh, Steve. Duh. I don't need that move first. That's only if you're going to be looping over it or if you need the actual record, right? Okay, let's try this again. So we'll do login, design view. Let's run this. Some random name, login, incorrect. Booyah. Okay, what if I am correct though? So we don't have any logic that clears that out if it's correct. We might have to add that a little bit later. So we'll go form view, nothing there, S bishop. If I exist, I shouldn't turn red. There we go. All right, so that means we do have a record, right? We do have a record in our record set that matches that username, and our logic is sound. Okay. Now, if that's correct, then what we need to do next is we want to, now we can go ahead and do rs move first. This is going to put us on that record. This is going to move the pointer onto that actual record in our list of records, okay? So now what we want to do is we want to verify. So if rs not, actually we want to do if rs password is equal to, and now we can do me.txt password, then and if. Okay, now The thing is, we want to also make sure that what's being passed in here is not null. So we need to do an n to z. So if they put nothing in there, we're going to convert it to a string of nothing. And the reason we want to do this is because we want to compare string versus string. If we did, we've run into this before in like the 2013 series, where if I didn't do this, it would sometimes pass people anyway, you know, it would pass the password test. So we want to make sure we don't do that. So if rs password equals the password, then okay, we're good. Or we could also say is not equal to, right? Actually, let's do that. Oh, whoops, not. Sorry, my C# brain, it's that one. That's not equal to. Okay, so if this is going to be incorrect, so if the password does not match, then we can do another similar incorrect user or incorrect password style. So we'll do private sub incorrect password style. All right. I need to add a label. We'll just copy this one, paste it. We'll give it some different text. Good enough. Let's drop this down a little bit so it matches. There we go. Okay, so actually that should go. It was where it was supposed to be. Never mind. Okay, incorrect password. Login. Let's go back here. Oh, did I label it? I don't think I gave it a good label, did I? Let's change that. We got to give it a name. There we go. LBL incorrect password. All right. Now let's go back to our login event. On click. Go down to our style. me.lbl incorrect password visible is true. Oh, I need to set that to false to start with, right? As the default. me.txt password border color is RGB, red, green, blue. We want a full value for the red, 0 value for green, and 0 value for blue. That's going to give us a nice red color. Save that. Let's go back and change this to visible by should be turned off. Oh, it is already. That's right, because we copied it from this one, so it already copied that visible property. That's good. All right. So, oops, that wasn't the one I wanted. Design view. There we go. And then form view. I don't know why it keeps opening up down there. It's weird. Okay, but our labels are gone. Click on that. Incorrect username. Okay, log in. Let's do sbishop. Log in. Okay, something's not right there. We'll figure that out in just a moment. But I think our styling is good to go. So let's go back to our event. On click for the login screen. Oh, we're not even calling it. So if it's incorrect, then we need to call incorrect password style. There we go. That's why it wasn't changing color. All right. So this time sbishop blah 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 login incorrect password. That's right. Woohoo! We are going places. Okay, so what if I use the correct one? So let me try the right password. I don't want layout view, design view, form view. Okay, so this time I'm going to test it out with correct username and password. Password 1 exclamation. Login. Booyah! Nothing shows up, right? So how can we verify? So what should we do if this is all good to go, right? If our login screen is proper. Well, let's add another form. We're not going to do anything with this form. We're just going to create it as kind of like a successful menu screen, right? So let's do, I usually like to call this like main screen or main. So let's do format is, let's add some text here. You know what? Let's grab this. So I'm going to do, I don't want the text. I want to grab this, copy, go to my other form, and paste. There we go. And we'll just add a little thing here that says logged in. All right. And maybe in an upcoming video, what we'll do is we'll make it so that this main screen actually shows like what the username is that was logged in. Okay. But this is just a simple form. Let's go ahead and save this. We'll call this main. Just main is fine. Now, if the successful login occurs, then we want to go ahead and open up that form, right? We want to go ahead and open up that main form. So we're going to do command open form. And the form name that we want to open is, of course, we need to pass it in a string, is just main. And I don't think that we need anything else there as far as any other arguments to pass to the open form. We're going to go ahead and close our current form, though. So we're going to do command close AC form. And I'm just going to do, for the object name, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to do me.name, right? And that'll get the name of the current form. I could have specified this as a string that was, you know, login, but I like doing this just because, hey, why not? All right, let's go ahead and debug, compile. Let's close the main screen. Let's try a login. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot one other thing. If the password is incorrect, right now we're just doing the incorrect style, but we're still moving on to open up the main form, and we don't want to do that. So let's exit the sub. That way it doesn't get to call open form, okay? All right, now that that's in place, let's try it one more time. sbishop, password on exclamation, login, boom, we're off and running. We've got the template here for a login screen. We got a couple other things we can probably do to spruce this up a little bit, right? So like the design view here, let's change the password so that it is all dots, right? We don't want the password to actually be visible, and that is a format. Let me see. It's under text form. No, it's not that one. It's input mask. There we go. Input mask. So under input mask, luckily they give us one right here that we can just select the password, click on next and finish. And that way, when the user tries to go and log in, what do they get? Well, they get sbishop, password PASSWORD, one exclamation, but you can't tell. I click on login. Yes, I want to change them. Save those changes. Yep. So it works, right? We're good to go. And I'll just once again prove this. Open up the login screen. Come on, open up. Where are you? All right, there you go. So open up the login screen. sbishop, PASSWORD, one exclamation. Login, opens up the main, closes the login form, right? So we got the basics for what we need. Yeah. Okay. One other thing I just want to double check here is that one issue that we ran into with Access 2013 when I first initially did that login screen. I always get questions on this, and nobody ever reads the description. Nobody ever reads the comments. There's a solution in there, but for some reason, everybody just ignores all that. And inevitably, I get the question, I can put in 0 password and I pass. Okay, I know that. I know. I made a mistake in the original one. Let's try it, though. sbishop, no password, login, incorrect password. Okay? So that problem is not occurring in this particular live coding edition. So that's basically the basics of a login screen. I think the one last thing I'm going to go ahead and do is make sure that it's the first form that opens when we open up this database. So I'm going to go up to File and Options, and we're going to say in the current database, display the form login. Okay. I have to close and reopen. That's fine. I'm good with that. Let's go ahead and do that. Login screen. Open that baby up. First form I get Oh, I have to enable content. Yes, yes. What? Why didn't you open? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Where's my login screen? It's somewhere. Where is it? Is it hiding off screen? Something tells me it's... Something tells me it doesn't like to... It's hiding itself for some reason. See how it keeps going down there? I wonder if it's like jumping off screen. I don't know why it's jumping down there. It might be because I'm at 150% on my screen width, and it's trying to center it. Let's do... Where can we fix that? Tell you what, let's do this. This is a good exercise. I have no idea why it's doing that. So let's do a little Google searching, or in my case, DuckDuckGo searching, right? So access window opens off screen. MS access window opens off screen. Screen door, off screen door. I don't really care about screen doors. Access windows. Window went off screen. MS activated. Windows open off screen. Ooh, here we go. Experts Exchange. Sometimes they got some good stuff. Oh, has this happened? For what's worth, there's also another method that's not nearly as good. User can select the window menu and select options of blah blah. Cascade to increase the resolution of the size used to create the problem, then shrink each window within a space. So select window and cascade. I don't think that's going to solve my problem. I want to know how to position. Find out. You know what? There we go. MS Access pop-up forms off screen. Let's see what Stack Overflow says. Ah, set the auto center yes and edit your application to in the default monitor. So it's auto centering. Still wants to go down there. Let's try closing and reopening, shall we? There we go. That solved it. Yay! Okay, there we go. So there's our login screen. Probably the other thing that we could do, and I'm gonna wrap up with this, is I'm gonna get rid of these options to close the window and add a cancel button, right? That way they can close it themselves, but they don't have the option to basically go in here and screw with things. So let's go into the design view. Let's change, oops, that's not what I wanted. I want to go find the control box. I'm going to change that to no. I'm going to also turn the close button off. And let's add a button here. It's just going to say cancel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be real kind of a jerk about it, I guess. And that is, if they cancel out of this, they're going to exit out of the whole thing. Because if you're not going to log in, you shouldn't be getting into this application. So I'm going to go on click. Do command quit. All right. Let's see what we get. There's our login screen. We no longer have the close button. If I click on cancel, we close the app. How about that? All right, so there we go. That's just going to be a starter project for some future videos, I think. Do some more of these live coding sessions where we just kind of grab some task to build upon this application. Maybe do some security related things. Maybe get rid of the navigation pane and maybe do some color schemes or something like that to make it a little bit better. But tell me what you guys want in this database. Like, tell me some of the ideas. I want to know. Do you want it to be an accounting database? Do you want it to be an inventory database? Do you want it to be a project management database? Give me your ideas. What are some of the features that you'd like to see on this database that I'm going to be coding up live here during some of these sessions in the upcoming time that we get? So, all right, let me just check chat for a few things. Yay, that's what I said. Exit without sub. Yep, good job. Hey, Steve, thanks for such a wonderful video series. Oh, yeah, I already read that. Oh, no, I didn't read that. I am a big fan of your channel. Could you please make a special video on Anchor? You know what, Deepak, maybe that's what I'll do in an upcoming video. Maybe we'll do something about anchoring and how to position these windows so that when you like change their size, right, you move them around, they anchors basically allow the screen to stretch in the appropriate way based upon the user interaction with the window, and it kind of moves the controls around or moves the labels around. So anchoring is a good thing to do so that it kind of keeps the look and appearance of your form. Because right now I can just kind of do this and it's not really keeping any sort of look to the form, right? It's kind of everything is statically placed according to this upper left position, and anchoring kind of allows us to mess around with that based upon what the user does here with the screen and resizing. So, okay. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you did, again, please send me your suggestions of some of the features you'd like to see on this application, and we'll go from there. All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thanks so much for watching, and take care.